Today in our program we will visit the famous race Ironman, which was held in the capital of Kazakhstan. We will talk to the ex-goalkeeper of the national football team, David Loria, shortly before he announced that he has called time on his career. And we will tell you how rugby is developing in the country and what are the successes of our sportsmen. For the second year in a row, the capital of Kazakhstan is hosting the Ironman race. This is the only sport in which both amateurs and professionals can compete in the same distance. Today we have almost 1,500 participants. The distance consists of 3 stages. Athletes must swim 1,900 meters, ride a bike 90 kilometers and run 21 kilometers. And this is only half of the standard iron distance. The youngest participant is 18. Younger athletes are not allowed to participate. The oldest athlete is 78. He came from Japan. Ironman legends participate in the race today. They are champions and multiple winners. Most of the applications, about 900, have been received from Kazakhstan athletes. More than 300 representatives came from Russia, and remaining 300 participants came from 50 countries. Participation in the race is paid. Contributions start at $200. At the same time, there is an impressive prize fund amounted to $30,000. I work here for the first time. Last year I worked at the ITO World Cup. I can say that the level of organization here is no worse than in Europe or Asia. Why do people participate in the Ironman race? This is a long-term goal. If you made it, you understand that you can do anything. Everyone has different motivation, but people try to do what they could not before. The most difficult competition of all time, Ironman celebrates 40 years this year. Races are held in various parts of the globe throughout the year. Each country plays a certain number of places, given the right to participate in the main start of the season, the Ironman World Championship, which invariably takes place in the Hawaiian Islands.
Ironman – это просто брендированная дистанция.
Ironman is just a branded distance, but triathlon as a sport is the highlight of many kinds of sports. It's been a time coming. Its popularity depends on the fact that the Ironman company did not retreat from its traditions many years ago and continued to popularize our sport through this mechanism.
Этот механизм – наш вид спорта.
This is the final straight. There will be a lot of people in a few hours. They will speed up the athletes and wait for those who comes first. The copters fly in the sky and the weather is close to perfect. These are the medals. They are given to all competitors. A map of Kazakhstan and the inscription Ironman Nur Sultan are printed on medals, which looks very stylish indeed. Perhaps the main difference between the iron race and all other sports is that the participants compete with each other to a lesser extent. Everyone overcomes himself. As a rule, relatives and friends come to support the athletes. Besides the fact that we have a lot of participants, we have a lot of supporters who sit along the track and keep fingers crossed. Let's find out who they are. Are you a participant or a supporter? We are a support group from Novosibirsk. Are there many participants from Novosibirsk? Our team consists of about 20 people. What are the privileges of the participation? Probably some kind of emotional uplift. Some kind of step, which you will walk over and appear in another dimension. 1 step higher. I think even 3 steps higher. This is the so-called checkpoint. Behind my back is the place where athletes leave their bicycles and continue to run along this path. They take a set for runners. A little earlier, a lot of spectators were here, now the most faithful left here. Are you supporters? Yes, we are. Did you come to encourage your husbands? Yes. How hard is the training process? You see all these stages. I would say that it is not difficult. The person just gets up early at 4 a.m. There is no harm to the family. We support him and keep fingers crossed. Do you have the same situation? He swims for the most time. Every day we came here to Triathlon Park. He is swimming in Ishim River. On the other hand, it is a charge of energy. Our daughter now started running too. Do you want to try also? I do, but I'm not ready for the triathlon yet. I run only. Do you think it is at all useful? Absolutely, it is useful. The main thing is to do it without fanaticism. Last year, the best participant posted the time of 3 hours 57 minutes. Now there are all prerequisites that the record will be broken. While there are hot battles in the street between amateurs and professionals, it is very quiet and peaceful here in a small tent. A large exhibition area has been constructed here. Organizers sell merchandise, hold various contests for children. Everything is done to make the audience comfortable and convenient. Outside, Nils Fromhold has appeared on the horizon at this moment. Professional triathlete from Germany took the cake and set the track record. His time is 3 hours, 46 minutes and 7 seconds.
What about your secrets of preparations?
It's be smart, train hard, train a lot, but the smartest win at the end. At the beginning was a good swim, easy, just out and back, and then a really fast bike. I love that course, and yeah, the half marathon was not easy because the wind.
Radka Kalefeld from the Czech Republic is the first to finish among women. She did not hide her emotions. This is one of the main victories in her career.
I'm really totally happy to be here in Kazakhstan. It's the volunteers organization, everything is fine, and they are so helpful, and yeah, they are cheering, and yeah, the emotion poor here.
What is the most difficult for you?
Today it was the run, because yeah, after a long injury, so I'm not in that fitness, so I was happy to run for 21K.
Many famous people participated in the marathon. The Olympic champion Alexander Vinokurov took the first place in his age category. In any case, this is a new record for me. In Dubai, I had. Here I have. It's great. It's cool to participate in our native land. Thanks to the organizers. Very interesting track, especially on the run. Refreshing breeze. Everything was great. According to the chief judge, the Ironman in Nur-Sultan city was assessed on a good 5. The participants are all alive, healthy, and most importantly are delighted. Anyway, when there are 1,500 participants, the main part of the amateurs falls out of the race on the water. There were falls on the bike. There were small incidents with falls, but everything is in order. No one was left without attention. Summing up, it can be concluded that the triathlon boom is observed in Kazakhstan, largely due to the integration of amateur sports in professional. Ironman is a challenge that not everyone can accept, but to overcome this distance is quite an honor, and people wanting to do it increase every year more and more. Further in our program, we have a large interview with the ex-goalkeeper of the national football team, David Loria. David, welcome. Was it difficult to make a decision to call time in your career? It is difficult in any case, and at the same time I felt that this would happen. Therefore, I perceived everything adequately.
Я адекватно все воспринимаю и воспринимал. И, подумав, принял это решение. В принципе, если бы не было травмы, я бы этого не сделал.
If I did not have an injury, I would continue to play. I like football very much. Since the injury began to take more time to recover, it would have taken another 2 to 3 months. I just did not want to let down people who believed in me this year and did not want to deceive the chief coach, management. It would not be nice of me.
И не хотел обманывать ни болельщиков, ни руководства, ни главного тренера, что это было бы некрасиво с моей стороны.
This season you started in Okjet Pes. Last season you spent in Kairat, and at the end of season you received offer of a goalkeeper coach position. It seems to me that this is not mine. I honestly said that. Therefore, I did not want to deceive people. The work you do needs to be done 100%. In general, goalkeeper coach is a vocation. Looking at the people I work with, I understand that this is true, a vocation. Therefore, I do not see myself on this position.
Your
friend Samat Smakov is a football functionary. Andrei Karpovich is a football club coach. Where do you see yourself? I have plans. To start work, you need to get some knowledge at first. You need to learn. Football from the inside and now from the side are two completely different things. David, World Cup 1999 in Nigeria among the young is still one of the main successes of our team. At that time, you were the youngest in the team. You were 17. How did our team make such a result? First, Vladimir Fomichov pulled together a very strong team. Born in 79-80s. I was lucky. I was born in 1981. At that time, I still studied in school. It was a luck to get into the team. Golden team, in fact. Subsequent games proved this fact. Another technique of Fomichov, there was also Pavel Cherepanov, who helped us, and they both taught us how to relate to football, and they created an efficient team. But nobody remembers this. But at that time, it was something incredible. Probably about 5 years ago, I revised the clippings. There were the names of Cambiaso, Ronaldinho. Xavi also played there. There was a very strong generation of football players who became world stars later. I think that if the preparation for the World Cup did not fail, we would have played even better. Do you regret that nothing was achieved in the national team, despite the fact that there were good players? Unfortunately, many of these guys have finished playing due to injuries. Of course, if they had played at a good level for a long time, the national team would have been even better. This is football. Can you tell which emotions do you feel here? I started training when I was 6 at this stadium. I came to the sports school which is located here. Then I attended the native club. All the first emotions are associated with this place. We stood behind those gates to pass balls during the match. If you were not chosen to pass balls, it was a tragedy. How did you accept the moment when Joly ceased to exist and Lokomotiv appeared? I played for Lokomotiv. Then they said that the story of Joly will continue in Lokomotiv. Therefore, I was calm. Then it turned out that this is absolutely another team. What are the 3 worst fields in Kazakhstan that you have seen when you were a football player? Now there is a tendency for all fields to be reworked. They are synthetic, but made at a good level. Therefore, there will be fewer bad fields. I have played for 22 years. I saw everything. How many clubs have you changed in your career? I do not know. A lot of them. 4 clubs in Europe. I played almost twice in all teams. Which team is in your heart? Of course, Zenit, Irtesh and Shakhtar. Because I spent the most time in these teams. Which coaches did you feel comfortable to work with? With whom was the best interaction? Timofeyev? Krasnozhan? I was not in the team when Krasnozhan was the coach. I cannot identify anyone. They all worked in different conditions. When Timofeyev accepted the team, it was the first experience. Pipers did a lot. He instilled a completely different attitude to football in us. How to recover, how to eat, how to behave outside the football field. I do not have very good memories with Bern Stork. I don't understand why to rejuvenate the team if it was young enough. As a result, the guys he removed later returned to the national team. What foreign experience is the most memorable for you? I remember you even played in Australia. I played youthful football in Australia. I received football education after CSKA there. At first, I was there. I went to Australia from there. If you take Sweden, Russia or Turkey, each experience was useful for me. I returned as another player from these countries. The most successful experience was in Turkey, in Rizespor. What are the most top clubs in which you could go? Lokomotiv Moscow, Rubin Kazan and PSV Eindhoven are the largest clubs, and the youth team leads after the World Cup. Why it didn't work out that way? Everything is very simple. According to the law of England, we had no right to play there at that time. It falls apart. How often did you receive offers to change the citizenship of Kazakhstan? Not often. Probably 2 times. For the first time when I was 16, there was a choice to play for the youth team of Georgia or Kazakhstan. The second time in 2009. I could get an Israeli passport. Hapoel Tel Aviv offered me to conclude the contract, but with the condition that I change my citizenship. Please name the most memorable match in the national team of Kazakhstan. There are a lot of them. 3 key matches. Probably Greece at home, although we lost, Belgium 0-0 and Serbia. In your opinion, which position the current national team of Kazakhstan takes and how Mihail Bilek's plan impressed you? A good team has been pulled together, and I think that there is a chance to beat those 10 points, which are considered a record this season. I think the time has come. 3 most famous footballers whose autographs or T-shirts you have. You know, there was a moment when we played against the German national team, losing 4-0. You come up to shake hands with Neuer after the game, you have no desire to take his T-shirt. But on the other hand, when we were sitting in the locker room, the administrator of the German national team knocked, asked for my T-shirt, and they brought me a T-shirt of Team Wies. Who in the current championship is able to compete for golden medals? In particular, Tobol is doing well. 5 teams that go to the top of the table are very interesting this season. Everyone can fight for gold. Who inspires you among top goalkeepers? In childhood, it was Peter Schmeichel. I admire Buffon in his 41. He does not lose enthusiasm. We understand that this is not because of money, but only because of the love of football. Do you think it is necessary to try to go to a foreign championship? It is always a development. You can always return home. This is your homeland. You are loved here. Everyone needs to try, but everyone decides for himself. Your grandfather was a professional football player. Your father also plays football. He's a functionary. You are the goalkeeper. Will your son be engaged in football? I do not know. Let's see. He likes football. I would certainly like it. I would not want him to be a goalkeeper, but for some reason he is attracted by football. He is both a striker and a goalkeeper. Thank you very much for the interview. It was interesting to listen to you. Thanks. Good luck. Next in the program, we will have a masterclass from Ali B. Suleimanov, rugby coach. This is Haka, New Zealand Maori dance. Quite often, rugby players start the game with a ritual dance in order to impress an opponent. Ideally, it looks like this. Rugby is a very emotional sport and probably one of the toughest. It combines athletics, wrestling and in part a bit of football. By the way, this is the young team of Nur Sultan City and they will help us to understand the features of the game. This is the helmet of our rugby players. It is very important to keep your head from various injuries. When an athlete falls to the ground, very often the helmet saves from serious damage. The main feature of rugby is our ball. It attracts the attention of children very much. It becomes interesting for them to play with it. The ball can only be passed back. This is a path. The player standing behind accepts it. It is prohibited to throw the ball forward in any case, as in chess. Each person must rely on his own logic and think quickly. In Kazakhstan, rugby is noticeably gaining popularity. Athletes begin to prepare from an early age. The national championship is held. The teams go to international tournaments. The men's national team of Kazakhstan now takes the 33rd place in the world ranking. Women are more successful. They are located on the 12th line, and in the last Asian Games they were able to win bronze medals. Given the rugby is an Olympic sport, the prospects for its development in Kazakhstan are enormous. Firstly, we accept children from 10 years. It is a hard sport. You need to have a strong physique. They must first physically get stronger and can later engage. Our youth is very interested in rugby. You can play on the football field, but you can train in the steppe. This sport is available for all people, at least at the amateur level. We will talk a little about the rules. A rugby match consists of 2 halves of 40 minutes each with a break of 5 to 10 minutes. After the break, the team should change the gate. If at the end of the match the score is equal, then additional time is assigned, 2 halves of 10 minutes each. During the game, you can often see the fight. This is like a standard position in football. At the moment when the ball is controversial, the fight is played. Set down, touched, logged in. The ball goes through the center and the game continues after that. By the way, rugby was invented not in the United States as many people think, but in England. In the 19th century, a student at College Webb Ellis, during a football match, grabbed the ball with his hands and rushed to the rival's test zone. So that's how it started. Now, rugby is played in more than 100 countries around the world. There are several million official players. I started practicing rugby in the army, in a military unit in Uzunagash city. This is like a tradition. My interest was very high. Upon arrival home, I found a rugby school and began my professional career. The video of the week ends our program. Marco Waltenspiel, Marco Fürst and Daniel de la Blanca, the famous air acrobats, flew over Almaty, rounding Koktebet TV tower. This is the first wingsuit jump in Kazakhstan made over the city.